Hello and welcome to the EEPROM 9. Today's teardown is the BGA 3000 control unit. And in other notes, when testing a new multimeter I got recently from the same place I got this, I managed to blow up my lovely bench power supply. So transistors are on order and that's going to go. But the fuse literally exploded into smithereens. There's still bits of glass under my desk which will one day find their way to embed themselves into my feet. The joys of electronics. But yes, we got this baby. And so, we are going to crack it open and show you inside. We have this lovely confusing user interface which is, yeah. That switches off the vacuum pump, that switches on the power, the rest, bugger knows. But basically what this thing is from what I can decipher, is basically an SMT BGA rework station. It's a fully automated jig. This would be linked to X, Y, Z gantry with some sort of head on it, which I'd imagine the vacuum pump would be to remove and replace the chip, camera hooked up and PC interface. It's quite a complex machine actually. This is all what's turned up of it, but I'll keep an eye out for any other parts of the machine that find their way in, because, well, even if I don't necessarily use it as a whole, make a good teardown. And this has the added bonus of having two compressors in. A little itty bitty small one and a big fat ass 240 volt one. Both are two things I've been on the hunt for a while, not sure how long. But enough rambling. Let's take the case of this bastard off. Yes, I know, it looks a bit of a clusterfuck, but it's not so complicated when you get used to it. This little unit up here with all the clear tubing is the itty bitty compressor for the vacuum pump that does vacuum only, although you do get the output is here inside the unit. This big old beastie on the rubber shock absorbers to, well, absorb vibration and thus reduce noise is the main big powerful vacuum pump. Isn't amazingly powerful, but that's another story. Over here we have a lovely toroidal transformer, which is the first piece of kit I've come across that's had a toroidal transformer in it. All other stuff has had your standard affair. Up here we have, which is out of your view, an RS-232 board that links to the main computer control unit here. There's also more of a passive control unit here, which has the analog gauge on it, this sort of gas flow meter thing. Up here we have a splitter box which is attached to some sort of solenoid, and this is I think it's a one-way valve for the vacuum pump to stop it sucking through hair or sort of alternating. We got a power transistor for something there. We've got standard screw terminal block, which is a bugger to pop in the modes, and that's really it for a general overview. There's not a huge amount to... oh yeah, and there's a little controller board here which basically supplies power to this and maybe a few auxiliary other little bits, but not much. The real interesting bit that I'm going to show you is the electronics and it operating, because I've hacked this. This needs the software to activate, not anymore. I couldn't be asked to piss around with the user interface and read through user manuals, so I've hacked it. This will always turn on by default. This is still controllable through the front panel, god-awful front panel user interface. As a note, it's a nice 3-board construction. Well, we can finally date the thing. The date code on the Philips chip is 96 of 40. Tweak. It has a 27C512. Why the hell they didn't use a ceramic EEPROM, I do not know, because I love the ceramic EEPROMs. We have just a generic Jelly Bean 74HC573. That'll probably be a buffer off the top of my head. And the Philips CPU, which is an ATC552. On the back we have the basically the main power, and there's also some of the actual mains voltage seems to go on this board through this connector. This little solder bridge here, that's my doing, that's how I hacked this to be always on. Bit of continuity with my new multimeter, and hey presto, we've found it. And so both compressors are now controllable rather than being locked off by the software. The front panel board is an interesting little board because among your standard sort of multiplexed LED LEDs, which will be probably hooked up to this MAX 7219 as the display controller, or maybe this one, I haven't really looked in detail. We've also got a PCF 8574T, I don't recognise that part number. But here we have a ceramic 24C16. I have never seen a ceramic 24C series chip. We also have an LT 1025, I don't know what that is. But nonetheless, interesting little red LED display, so 1990s vintage. Oh god, that feels wrong saying 1990s is vintage, it makes me feel old. But yeah, let's show you the beastie working and give you a little explanation of what I want to do with it. Excuse the compressor noise, there's not much I can do about it. It is a compressor. So this is your main compressor, and this is your little itty bitty one, so that's the suction. This pumps out. I don't know where this main compressor sucks in. I believe it's here, because if you adjust this valve you weaken it. And the solenoid that's in the top probably switches which one it pumps out, because you've got one which is a says heat and cool, so there might even be an internal heater in there. But the plan is to use this section as an air duster, so I can actually clean computers, because those cans are damn expensive, £5 a can, and you clean about one computer with them. And the compressor, the vacuum one, I was thinking of like to implode stuff, but it doesn't have the power, so some form of vacuum pickup. I might remove it from this and just put it in the parts bin as something that I can use at a later date, but it certainly beats the hell off the compressors you can get in supermarkets and petrol stations for your tyres. Yeah, just use those ones for your tyres. This will be far more effective. This thing's got a decent flow rate as well. Damn sight better than the other one, so yeah, this will come in quite handy. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. And also, another little thing at the end of this video, how interested in would you all be in some Five Nights at Freddy's gameplay? Because I've got a whole load of stuff recorded. I could compile it into a proper review, or just upload it in sort of episode type things. I want honest feedback on that, because it frustrates me whenever I upload something and it doesn't get watched. So if you could give feedback on that as well, that'd be fantastic. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Oh yes, more specifically, it's Five Nights at Freddy's 2.